Fake news is a global problem. Studies have shown that many people cannot tell what news is fake and what news is real. This can create confusion and misunderstanding about important social and political issues. I am Mujib, I am a PhD scholar. In this video, I want to address some prominent questions concerning fake news. In the first instance, we need to understand what is fake news, how it impacts on the society, why we really believe in fake news. Addressing all these questions will help us to make better decisions. Before explaining why we believe in fake news, first of all, we need to understand what is fake news. Fake news is news stories that are either completely untrue or do not contain all the truth. In most cases, people deliberately mislead readers or followers. Fake news become prominent during the elections, with the supporters of both sides sharing false information over the internet in the hope of influencing voters. Also, we have witnessed a wide range of fake news during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We heard fake news about the vaccine and how virus made in laboratories, people who created the virus. But it is nothing new. Fake news has been around a lot longer than real news. But the good thing with the current digital generation is that at least we can verify it whether it is true or not. However, the bad thing is we are not putting any efforts to verify that. Okay, let me explain why people spread fake news. It is human nature to share the things which are sensational, new and attractive. Unfortunately, fake news contains all these attributes. The evidence suggests that people create and spread fake news to get power. In most cases, it is about political powers. One prominent author says that truth and power can travel together only so far. Sooner or later, they go their separate ways. If people want power, at some point, they will have to spread fictions or lies. Moreover, false news stories spread faster, deeper, and further than true stories. According to the MIT study, a false story travels faster than a true story. Also, in the digital era, we have very little regulations or editorial standards to follow, so spreading fake news has become more easier. Okay, why we believe in fake news? There are two reasons why we believe in fake news according to the MIT research. First, fake news seems to be more novel than real news. Secondly, fake news evoke much more emotions than the real news. Let me explain some important psychological concepts behind the fake news. Firstly, information overload. When you are in front of the laptop or smartphone, you can able to access tons of information. It means you are overloaded with the information. It is difficult for anyone to go through everything and make the judgment. Many people now get news from social media sites and networks, and often it can be difficult to tell whether stories are credible or not. When you have more information, you will be more confused. There are many empirical studies shows that information overload contributes to confirmation bias. When we have more information, we pick the content that matches our pre-existing beliefs and makes decisions. In most cases, it leads to poor decisions because our brain wants to shortcuts and easy answers. So there will be poor quality decisions produced when you have an overload of information. We think we are rational creatures, but we are guided by emotional and irrational thinking. That is why most of the advertisements that we see every day connected with the emotional and irrational aspects. For example, there is a fact that is not spoken or written to a greater extent. In this context, people won't remember it and they won't believe it. We do not always believe things because they are correct. Sometimes we believe things because they make us look good to the people we care about. One author says that silence is death for any idea. An idea that is never spoken or written down dies with the person who created it. But it is sad that people are not using this concept to share good ideas, but they are using to share fake news. We hear something and believe it to be true straight away. It is calling lazy thinking. According to Harvard psychologist Daniel Gilbert, in most cases, we believe something straight away because our brain is lazy and don't want to make any rational assessment. Do not want to check facts or gather some additional information to make a reasonable judgment. So the suggestion is that when we hear something, we need to gather some critical information about it and and we need to make a decision whether it is true or not. Another aspect is that why we believe things, that we have a pre-existing beliefs which won't allow getting new information. For example, we follow and like one leader from a long time and we have a good opinion on him. When someone proves with the evidence that a particular leader is a fake, we won't believe it because our pre-existing belief never allowed it to believe. This is the most significant risk currently we are facing, particularly when we are choosing leaders for our nations. So there are 3 steps to avoid fake news. Firstly, you should spend time on good ideas than tearing down bad ideas. Whenever you hear a bad idea, try not to react to it. On social media, do not try to dislike or make any counter argument. Do not pay any attention to it because fake news spread quicker when you pay attention to it. According to one study, active participation increases visibility, so not to engage with false information is a very good approach. I don't mean to say that we should not criticize the bad ideas. If the goal is to actually change minds, then I don't believe criticizing the other side is the best approach. Instead, we have to share good ideas and pay much attention to the good ideas. Thirdly, try to access and rely on credible and reliable sources so that you can avoid information overload. I also have some other suggestions. People who are spreading the news, they are trying to analyze your brain and making plans to trap you. But you are not planning any efforts to understand whether it is true or not. Make sure you try to put some efforts. And my advice to parents is that help your children to develop critical thinking skills. Don't just focus on grades, which are useless in the long run anyway. Trust me, understanding the fake news is a future skill. It helps your children to make better decisions. So, stop fake news, stick to the truth even if it is boring, because it helps everyone in the long run. If you think sharing facts is a good idea, please share my video and subscribe to this channel for social change. In my every video, I will try to suggest one book to read. Today, I suggest you to read Atomic Habits. I found it really helpful. This book talks about how a small change in your life can bring a big difference in your life. It is written by James Clear. He has his own blog where he posts interesting articles regularly, so you can subscribe to it for free. Thank you so much.